Appreciate those who are in attendance and those who are watching online. I did want to, before we start with the silence and the roll calls, I wanted to take a moment. One of the great uncontracted benefits and the great rewards of being a school teacher is the reward of being a difference maker. And if you're here long enough, and you stay in a community long enough, you become a difference maker for generations of students. The Octorara community lost one of those difference makers last week, a teacher by the name of Dennis Simmons. I was blessed to have him as a teacher. Jill, you probably did too. A kinder, more gentle, quiet soul you will never find. And the comments on socials about this man were fitting, accurate, and just. And I think we should all strive to be difference makers in our own way as we go down this path of public education. With that, let's rise for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, take the roll.
Ms. Daughtery.
Here.
Mr. Fox.
Here.
Ms. Guilford.
Here.
Mr. Hoffman. Ms. Metzler.
Here.
Mr. Norris.
Here.
Ms. Peck.
Here.
Mr. Rossi.
Here.
Mr. Trotty.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. With that, welcome Danielle to your first meeting. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the Facilities Finance Committee meeting, the work session of February, the Policy Committee meeting, the Finance Facilities Committee meeting, and the regular meeting of February 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. At this time, we're open up for visitors' comments for agenda items only. If you have a comment, come down, state your name and your municipality. Seeing none, that takes us on to presentations. Sean?
Great, thank you. Good evening, and also welcome Danielle. At this time, we're going to welcome representatives from Devapar to present. They were just here 2 weeks ago, but we're back again. This time, we're sharing about a charter school report that they were commissioned to do several months back. So I turn it over to Ms. Sue Sneed. Sue?
Can you hear me okay? Okay. Thank you. All right. Good evening, and thank you for having us. We're here to report out on the charter school study that we conducted. So I know Sue is there in the room, and we're going to kind of share the presentation this evening and review our findings and thoughts and suggestions with you all. So again, Sue and I were the ones that worked on this study. And again, we're happy to be back with you this evening. Next slide, please. So the overall purpose of the study was to determine the impact of the enrollment of Octorara School District students' election to participate in charter school options rather than attending the Octorara Area School District system. And then the second pillar was to create action steps to maintain and recapture students enrolled in charter schools and move them back into the school district. Sue? Okay. So fiscal implications of the charter school enrollment. So you can see the progression that's happened over the past couple of years due to cyber charter legislation that has been enacted. So you can see in 23-24, there were two rate categories. It was a regular education rate and a special education rate. And you can see how that has changed up through the current year, 25-26, where there's now four pillars of costs. There is a regular education rate per student that is broken down by brick and mortar and cyber. And then you have the same thing on the special education side of the rate category. And you can see those numbers. They're significant, especially if a student's fully enrolled for an entire year. Those are the rates that Octorara will be paying to that charter school for the education of that student. If you look at these numbers in comparison to the district approved budget for 25-26, projected to spend a little over $5 million, which is 7.93% of your overall budget. So those are significant costs that are leaving the Octorara School District and going to other educational entities throughout the state, both brick and mortar and cyber charter. So what do we recommend and what can be done about this? In this slide, I won't read each box, but really, Sue and I have a lot of optimism based on what we've seen during our time with Octorara and what's happening. And we highlighted some of those, but really it's about how the district continues to tell its story. How do you focus on creating systems? How do you look at, really having families understand the positive impact of the reconfiguration that's happened this year? Pre-K for all, your virtual academy. Sue and I both believe you have a tremendous opportunity with your existing virtual academy to really, evaluate where it is today and really decide if there's room or enhancements for improvements in that program that can compete with other charter schools throughout the state. Sue showed you some of the data a few slides ago, so it's pretty evident to us that cyber charter area really makes sense to have a renewed focus as you move into the upcoming school year. Next slide, please. So action steps that we felt were critical that were already in process, and this was completely outside, our review of this topic. The first thing we noted was the hiring of a director of communications. Obviously, we see that as a big component to the charter school piece. Obviously, that individual is one person. They have many responsibilities across the school district, but certainly areas that individual could be working on that could also help advertise and help support the charter school recapture strategies of the district, we think would make a lot of sense. We talked about, increased communication and listening sessions. Ongoing efforts to improve business office systems. Just for an example, Mike already filed, an updated PD 363 to make sure the tuition rates for this year were where they, should be statutorily based on the new revised 363 form. We noted the reconfiguration of the school district. We heard nothing but extreme positive feedback on that reconfiguration this year across a multitude of the areas of your school operation. So certainly that's something, Sue and I looked at and thought there could even potentially be more as you head into summer and next school year for families that currently are not with Octorara, that this could be a consideration that they would take into account to potentially return, whether it's to your cyber program or your brick and mortar. We talked about the virtual academy. Your comprehensive high school CTE program is extremely impressive. It really, and Sue and I, we work in other CTE programs, consulting across the state. What you have developed in Octorara, the program, the leadership, very impressive. And we see this as certainly a pillar that the district could rely on as far as something to attract students back into the district. And we looked at your athletics, your performing arts, your academic teams. So many positives in that area that we've seen through the interview process that, again, it could be just a little more of a push and a highlight on those opportunities. Those alone can have parents considering maybe to return to the school district for future educational, future school years that are upcoming. Sue, back to you.
So some of the potential action steps that we are recommending, and honestly, we're looking at this in terms of, is this an urgent issue for this school district to think about and to handle at this time? If so, this is the timeline. This is what we think might be helpful and might start the process of bringing students back, or at least maintaining students that you have. One thing here that we think is probably of the highest priority is to update that website and to build out the subsites on the website so that the information that people find online is accurate and trustworthy and maintained on a regular basis. Right now, it's not quite there, so it's a little bit hard to follow. We know that the Director of Communications is working hard on this, but we see this as sort of the first priority. We want to always have strong trust with the community through any communication that we put out there. So whatever is on the website needs to be accurate and up to date. We also want to continue to improve the oversight and the processes related to charter school tuition in the business office. We know that the business office is working hard to make sure all these processes and procedures are in place. We want to make sure that the tracking of students that are attending, that those students are still living within the school district, that we're paying the appropriate amount. We think Mike is right on top of all that, but it's a very tenuous process, and it's something to continue always striving to improve. We also want to analyze the positive impact that the district reconfiguration has had on the school district. So what we would recommend at this point, because it's kind of too late to bring up the reconfiguration, but to look at the data compared to, like, say, the 23-24 school year, the 24-25 school year, and compare the data to your 25-26 school year to show that there's been a difference or a positive change in the areas of student performance, student behavior, attendance, and the perceptual data of families because of the reconfiguration would be a great way to bring up the reconfiguration to the public and still kind of highlight the positives. Our expectation is that all of that data is going to look more positive now than it did in those previous 2 years. We also thought about the consideration of a phone survey to contact the Octorara families that are sending their children to particularly the cyber charter schools and collegium. There are 61 students going to cyber charter, 14 going to collegium, and really kind of scripting out what we would say, how we would highlight the school district to those families to encourage them to at least come visit and perhaps re-enroll their children back into the school district. And then, of course, we want to always be looking at, because there are so many children and families choosing that cyber option, we want the Octorara Virtual Academy to be as competitive as it possibly can be, really exploring what those other cyber charters are offering and make sure that we are also offering that at the OVA program as well. A little bit later in the summer, we really think that word of mouth is the best form of communication in any small community. And we really think that when we open up in August, when all the teachers are back and there's convocation, ensuring that all Octorara employees understand the urgency and the vision behind bringing charter school students back and keeping our students in our schools so that they don't opt to go to charter schools, and making that part of the conversation. We really also believe that creating building level procedures, so in other words, if a teacher hears that a family is thinking about a charter school, if a parent calls into the office, do our administrative assistants know what to say, who to direct them to, because we really want to encourage them to stay, and that one-to-one contact is probably the best way to do that. We always want to be communicating and highlighting the positive impact of the reconfiguration of the school district and all of the amazing things that happen within the school district. We want to demonstrate a renewed emphasis in telling the story of Octorara's successes. And we want to engage the entire school community in the use. You have an Octorara app that we believe is completely underutilized, and that's a great way to make sure that you have real-time, up-to-the-minute communication through that app. We wrote kind of an idea of how to engage people in using the app on a regular basis by using our back-to-school nights within the context of the report. For example, using the back-to-school nights, having tech available in the front of the building, getting people signed up on their phones, downloading the app, and making sure that we're having really interesting communication happen on that app so that people get used to relying on it. Chris, some of the long-term planning?
As far as long-term planning, again, some additional action steps and considerations. Just a couple to note about highlighting the differences between student performance and the charter schools. We believe that's good practice to continue to evaluate that, similar to how Sue presented this evening. And just taking a look and benchmarking is always a good thing, especially given the amount of money being allocated to this part of your budget. Inviting the charter school families to come and visit. The days of education when students just showed up at our schools because they lived in a certain zip code. Yes, that still happens, but there's choice now. And students and families have choice. So we need to compete for our students much differently than we did a decade or so ago. So again, a real, I think it's fairly easy to do is to invite families in, communicate with them. That can make a difference in them returning to your schools. And there's some other recommendations there around tracking and looking at pre-K. The continuity between pre-K and Sue, if you mentioned this, I still can't hear anything that's in the room. I can only talk. So Sue, if I kind of reiterated anything that you said, I apologize. But really looking at that pre-K part of the school district. If you can capture those students early within your programming, they're less likely to leave at an elementary age and go to another educational setting. So, and you guys are already doing a lot of work in that area, but it's something just to continue to focus on, moving forward. And then monitoring the trends of your enrollment certainly is an important practice and task that should be done regularly, that someone has the pulse of what's happening with enrollment. So that concludes our presentation. I will let Sue answer any questions. And if there's anything I need to follow up on, Sue, just let me know. But I'll turn it back to you, Sue. Thank you.
Sure. Any questions?
I had been wondering if we have any of the data of what grade level of Octorara students are at charter schools.
It's within the report, so I don't
missing.
have that right in front of me, but when
Yeah.
you see the full report, I show exactly how many students per grade are attending charter schools and which schools per grade they're attending. The one thing that I think is really noteworthy is that there are 20 kindergartners entering Avon Grove Charter School. And that's what we meant about pre-K. Like if we know that we have the Y available for, childcare and pre-K services. But what we want to do is make sure that kids never leave the Octorara buildings for any reason, because the likelihood of them continuing through and starting in kindergarten with us, if there's pre-K available, is a lot higher than if they go elsewhere for pre-K and then they have that choice between the two buildings. So, or between the district and Avon Grove, for example. So we have 21 total kindergartners that are out in charter. 20 of them are at Avon Grove.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Was that pre-K? Avon Grove has a pre-K?
No, they have a before and after school program that's pretty robust and affordable, but they
Okay.
do not have pre-K. But what
Okay.
I'm suggesting is that,
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was a like for like.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
So you had mentioned in somewhere in here, siblings and how it sounds like about 50%. Like
It's
about
50-50.
In one place,
Yeah.
it was almost, and a little more. Those kindergartners, is there anywhere in here that shows whether or not those kindergartners actually are siblings of existing upper grade students?
no, we did not look at that. That's a great question. I don't know.
I don't think your mic was on, maybe, when you read through the comparative study of charter schools.
Yes.
So just so that that can be reiterated again.
Sure.
Because it would show that, not for Avon Grove Charter School, but for all these other or cyber charter schools where we send our students, all but one of them is under most significant comprehensive school improvement
Yes.
plan. So
Every
they
single
are
one.
underperforming.
Yes.
And so the parents of our students who are sending their kids to a cyber charter school are sending them to a substandard performing school.
Yes.
Okay.
And I say that
Okay.
definitively, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.
Can you clarify the NA for Avon Grove, though? Is there a
I
reason
just
that-
put NA there because there is no designation there. So there's no designation, meaning the state that it's not an ATSI school, a CSI school, or a TSI school. It's the one that's not underperforming, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's brick and mortar, too. I was making the point mostly about the cyber charter, but yeah, you're right. And then our Octorara Virtual Academy is an alternative for all those parents, right? We have a virtual academy. We've had it running for, Mark, how many years? You started it, didn't you? No. Oh. No, I thought, wait.
I've been around a long time, but
Yeah.
I think 2000, it was like 2010.
Okay, but you helped found it here, though. Maybe not start it, but,
Yeah, I was in charge of it quite a while.
okay, so we've got a OVA, 10 years running plus, and we have students enrolled there, and they are performing.
Right.
Okay.
Now, OVA is not an individual school, it's a program. So it's a program of the school district. OVA is not considered a separate school like Commonwealth Charter Academy.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and actually, one of the benefits I thought when we were talking about putting OVA in place was that these kids get an Octorara diploma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can
And-
participate in Octorara activities.
Right. It's
It-
just an alternative way to receive the instruction that they would get in the
Yes.
K-12 system here at
I
Octorara.
do believe some homework needs to be done to find out why someone would choose a cyber charter school that has a designation like that as opposed to coming to Octorara Virtual Academy. That's why we're
Yeah.
talking about a very kind of personalized approach, calling the families. And
Right.
some families will talk to you and some families might not, but it's worth a conversation.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
worth a conversation.
Yeah, thank you. I agree.
Sure.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. We've enjoyed
you.
partnering with your district so much, and we wish you well. So many good things happening here. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Chris.
Which takes us to the treasury report. I need a motion to approve the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the general fund report for period ending February 28th, 2026.
So moved.
And a second? A second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Michael, can you lay out the business manager's report, please?
Yes, sir. For the general fund for the month of March was $3,111,339.63. Cafeteria fund, $15,809.75. Capital projects fund, $188,729, even. There was no funds from the capital reserve, so the total for this list of bills was $3,315,878.38.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion
So moved.
and a second? Second. Is there any discussion on any of the bills? All right. All those in favor of paying the bills, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay, the recommended action items for this evening, we went through at the work session items 10A through 10H, and I don't see anything italicized as changes, so if I could get a motion to approve A through H. Is there any discussion? A through H, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, the following, we'll need a motion in a second for each of the following. Letter I, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the letter of engagement with Eberly Appraisal Services for real estate appraisal for the old maintenance building at 234 in Highland Road at a cost of $1,600.
So moved.
Second, is there any discussion? I will add that the vast majority of these first several were discussed at the work session facilities meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter J, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the proposal with Fry Lutz to replace a room ventilator at the Octorara Area Middle School at a cost of $4,550. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Letter K, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the proposal with Precision Fire and Protection Incorporated for sprinkler system repairs at the Octorara Intermediate and High Schools at a total cost of $15,532. May I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Yeah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Letter L, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the estimate with DJ Cross Incorporated for air duct cleaning at the Octorara Area High School Gymnasium at a cost of $5,780. May I get a motion? One motion.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Letter L passes. Letter M, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the estimate with Economy Glass for window replacement at the Octorara Middle School at a cost of $1,697. Can I get a motion? And a second? You get that, Jill? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter N, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the proposal with Premium Power for new radiator installation on the generator at the Octorara Middle School at a cost of $5,735. Need a motion? And a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Letter N passes. Letter O, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the 26-27 course selection guide for the Octorara Area High School. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I just want to throw out that I really hope at some point we can bring back the theater class. I only mention it because we've all talked about some lovely theater stuff, some art stuff. The Devonport people said we should use it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
maybe
agree.
sometime in the future.
Yeah, they're actually, I wouldn't, maybe not for tonight, but in the next Ed committee meeting, could we get, like, there were 4 or 5 classes that were removed. It looks like maybe some of the content might have been duped with some other.
I have an explanation for each of the courses. I'll just give you a little blurb. Is that all right?
Sure, if you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can do it now. I can speak to it now, or I can just send you the blurb. It's up to you.
I don't mind if it's not going to be too
It'd be
long.
great
Sure.
to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So some of the courses that were questioned was theater, of course. That was the first at the top of the list. And so I actually have some feelers out right now for someone that might be able to teach the course within our existing staff. It was previously taught by someone who left, obviously, but we know that's important, so we would like to have it back again. If I can get someone to teach that, that is a priority for us. European history class really was supplanted by 2 of the other social studies courses. We have more students attending psychology and economics. So that's really the courses that they're choosing over Euro history. They take academic world history their freshman year, so they take these as additional courses. It was an elective social studies course, so to speak, if you will. Dual credit human anatomy and physiology. We hope to offer that in the future. The person that is teaching that is new, brand new. He would like to really get familiarized with the curriculum before we offer that once more, just as a benefit. So we hope to offer that within another year. or so, just based on numbers. And then the others were courses, it was Intro to OAC TEP Design and Illustration, Visual Design and Communication 1, and Visual Design and Communication 2. And each of those 3 courses were supplanted by other courses in the program of studies, the course selection guide. So material is still being covered in other areas, it's just not a single standalone course. They're usually add-ons that some of our teachers add that are teaching multiple courses within one particular period, so they're doing it in other ways instead. So,
Thank you.
It might be good then to just get an update on staffing, because it sounds like it's staffing. So if it's an issue on staffing, maybe in 4 months, if you could get an update, just to see how that's going.
Sure.
Because there's no reason we can't change
Yeah.
halfway through. Maybe.
Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, the only thing I would also just add is there are approximately 660 students in the high school, and it's just a matter of having more courses than needed, or the right amount of courses that are needed for the population. So that's part of it as well.
I don't know if there's a benefit to add what the additions are or explain at all about the additions. I thought it was interesting, there's an artificial intelligence foundations course being added that just seems kind of noteworthy as we move forward. And then also the Pathways 21 schoolwork experience. So if there's any blurb for those, we'd be happy to hear it.
Yeah, actually, I mean, luckily, Mr. Patika is actually in the audience. Both of those are courses that we've added as part of the OAC TEP repertoire. So I don't know if Mr. Patika wants to speak to either one of those, but I know he can.
I can talk to the AI Foundations level course we're looking to add anyway as part of the program, but that's to not cost the district any additional money. If you're working with PA codes, $11 million grant is smart grant to add that teacher training. So as students, we have a reduction in students, we want to use some of our existing staff to be able to teach areas that we think are really important. With the advent of AI, we want students to be able to utilize that in an ethical way. So this was developed actually with teachers that we actually targeted for that program, and he's really excited about the opportunity. So some of these programs are just changing out to fit what culturally and society dictates to what we think we need. So we're just trying to, kind of ignore it and what's being asked, or what is being asked.
All right, having had a lengthy discussion about that, let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Letter O passes. Letter P, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the Octorara Area Career and Technical Education Program application and admissions process. May I get a motion? Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter Q, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the Kindergarten Readiness Program, which will run Tuesdays through Thursdays from June 30th to July 30th, 2026, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the PLC. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And it's been moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Would it be possible to just highlight if there's any changes? That's been an
Yeah.
existing tradition. Is there any changes from what it's been in past years?
I'm not sure. I'm going to look at Dr. Flojo for this one.
The only changes were running 3 days rather than 4 days.
Thank you. It's been moved in second, and a discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter R, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the settlement agreement and release for student A. On motion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter S, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the memorandum of understanding with the Coatesville Area School District for the Homeland Security and Protective Services Program offered by the Octorara Area School District. Any motion? And a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Letter S passes. Letter T, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the memorandum of understanding with the Coatesville Area School District for the career and technical education programs offered at the Octorara Area School District. A motion?
So moved.
And a second? Discussion. I'm going to ask Dr. Dukavich to just briefly, this is good news. I want.
And I'm looking up there at Mr. Batika again to jump on in.
But he's not on the mic, so
That's right, he's not on the mic. Well, I'll credit Mr. Batika on continuing to, sure, come on down, just in case there's more questions. But Mr. Batika is actively working to continue to support RCT programs by offering opportunities for neighboring districts. And Coatesville had been one of the few who had not really been engaging with us and are directly our neighbor. So I'll turn it over to Mark to give some more context.
So in referring to the Homeland Security and Protective Services Program, just to give you a history on that, the program started in 2011. 2013, we were PD approved. In 2015, we moved over to the training campus over on Modena Road, 137 Modena Road, 2.5 miles from Coatesville High School. Since the advent of that program, there's only been 2 Coatesville students who've attended that program. So Brian Chengler, the principal at the high school, Coatesville Senior High School, sits on the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce with me, and we've kind of sparked that conversation up again. How do we improve that number? Right now, we have 4 students applied from Coatesville to the Homeland Security Program as of right now. So we're doing pretty good as far as numbers are concerned. He was driving students, there were some kids that were late to Brandywine, TCHS Brandywine from Coatesville, and it took him about 40 minutes to get those kids down to Brandywine. And he was on his way back, and he was quite fueled, and he called me, and he said, how much closer is Octorara than Brandywine? And it's 15 minutes closer. So he said, can we send our kids to you, because this is ridiculous? So, whatever we have, again, that application process goes to that point. We're accepting Peckway Valley students, and we have been for the last few years. And we're also now going to have a conversation, so these MOUs now go over to Coatesville so they can start taking a look at some of our programs, which I will tell you, we now have 2 or 3 of our programs that are completely filled, which, presents a really good problem, and a problem for John and I to try to figure out. And we want to create those opportunities for all kids that want those career and technical education opportunities, because they do make a difference. So that's where Coatesville comes in. And I know they're excited about it. I know we're excited about it. So wherever we can create that opportunity for all kids, we're there.
Thank you. Keep up the good work, both of you. Appreciate it. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter U, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the agreement with Health Equity as the district's flexible spending account provider. May I get a motion, please? And second? Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter V, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the office space for lease advertisement flyer for the Learning Annex. May I get a motion? And a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Letter W, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following policies first reading. 103, discrimination, harassment affecting students. 104, discrimination, harassment affecting staff. 105.2, exemption from instruction. And 606, tax collection. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Letter W passes. Letter X, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following policies second reading. 123, interscholastic athletics, and 807, opening exercises, a moment of silence, and flag displays. May I get a motion? And a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Letter X passes. Letter Y, that the Octorara Board of School Directors accept the resignation of Ms. Raven McCoy as an autism support teacher at the Octorara High School, effective June 5th, 2026. May I get a motion? And a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Letter Y passes. Letter Z, that the Octorara Board of School Directors accept the resignation of Miss Allison Hickey as a fall head cheer coach and winter head cheer coach effective March 11th, 2026. May I get a motion? Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Letter Z passes. Double A, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the adjustment in salary for Miss Amy Rossi from 188 days at $65,237, prorated to 198 days at $68,695, prorated. Ms. Rossi was hired on February 17th, 2026, as a school counselor at the Octorara Primary Learning Center. May I have a motion, please? And a second. Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Double A passes. Double B, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve Miss Ashley Walton as a food service employee to be determined pending completion of employee-related documents required by law in the district. Ms. Walton's rate will be $15 per hour for 5 hours per day, replacing someone who resigned. May I get a motion? And a second. Moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter CC, that the Octorara Board of School Directors approve the following supplemental contract for the 25-26 school year. Marsha Rapone, boys tennis head coach, 7 points at $620 for a total of $4,960. May I please have a motion? Been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Which takes us to the Policy Committee. Ms. Metzler.
Policy Committee met at 6 p.m. in this room this evening. We had a second reading of the policies approved tonight, the 123 interscholastic athletics. Mostly just the PSBA recommended changes in some wording, updates, a little bit of clarification to eligibility standards. The main thing that we chose to opt in on is there's now a statement on students using their name, image, and likeness for advertising and things like that. Policy 807 was to create a anniversary of September 11th moment of silence is now added to that policy on opening exercises and moment of silence and flag displays policy. We had our first reading of policy 103, which is discrimination, harassment affecting students. Our changes for that one are, again, from the PSBA, mostly wording changes to update the title of who to contact, removing compliance officer title and keeping only our Title IX coordinator, who is Nicole Dean, and that includes her contact information for any of that. And then similarly, policy 104, discrimination, harassment affecting staff, also includes those updates of changes in wording from PSBA and for our internal staff changes. We then went to policy 105.2, which is exemption from instruction. There was some discussion about, the notification that goes out to parents, but no major changes included in there, just a few wording updates and things like that. The final one was policy 606, which is tax collection. My thanks to Mike Stabile and Nicole Dean for working together to create a few changes to reflect, what's relevant and best practice for us internally regarding bonding and that kind of thing. So thanks to them for their work on that and those updates. That concludes our policy meeting from tonight.
Any questions for Drellin? No. All right, Finance Committee report. Mr. Stabile, can you fill in for Mike, please?
Yes, I will. Tonight, we start out with the presentation from CCIU to go over their program and their in-depth budget. We continued on with our own financial overview, which we looked at to review our local revenues, the difference between what was budgeted this year and what we actually collected or estimated to collect for real estate taxes, interim real estate taxes, delinquent taxes, and earned income taxes. We also reviewed the impact of the new collective bargaining agreement with the teachers union for next fiscal year. We did an in-depth look at charter school tuition. This year, we're budgeting to estimated cost almost $5.3 million, or 8% of our total budget. Then we reviewed our projected estimated tuition costs over the next 5 years. We also looked back at the tuition rates over the previous 4 years, and a copy of the current fiscal year PD 363, which calculates the tuition rates. We also reviewed our millage as far as for next year with rebalancing, since we are a multi-county school district. We also looked at possible the effects of increase in millage between the two different counties of our school district. And that's all I have.
Thank you. The IU report is me. That's next. We met February 18th. Basically, it was, as Mike suggested, we learned about the budget, the OCED, all the different various budgets that the IU will present to the school districts and then for the IU board for approval. On a program note, we learned about the initiation of a barbering program. Starts next year at Penix Bridge, and then Pickering will be 27, 28. Personally, I had no idea this was a thing, and it was unbelievably acceptance and participation in this barbering program. It was really pretty cool. In fact, one of the students that took that had it has opened up a shop in Kennett, and he's agreed to hire participants that are in the program. So it's just all good stuff. And like I said, other than that was just the budget, and that they're having a tomorrow evening. Brian and I are going down to Penix Bridge for a board appreciation evening that's filled with presentations from the culinary and some of the programs that they do. We're not quite sure what they do. Last year we were doing welding and some hairdressing fiasco. It was quite entertaining. So it's a night out, and they were wise and invited spouses this year.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun night out, cheap date night. And that was it, which takes us to the Legislative Council report. Mr. Fox.
Thank you. Everybody should have a card for the invitation to the legislative breakfast on April 17th. It's a Friday. I know that might mean having to take time off work. Over the years, that's kind of how I swung it when I was able to attend. I couldn't attend all of them, but it is an opportunity, if you haven't been to one, it's an opportunity that the IU sets up with legislators at the state level. We did get, I think we did get Chrissy Houlihan's aid once or twice, but point is, it's an opportunity to sit down at a table over breakfast and meet with the legislators, and this one is going to be April 17th. We met as a council on Wednesday night, February 25th. We discussed some pending legislation and some that's coming through. The cell phone ban, which has gotten a lot of attention. The new personal finance course that's a requirement for the 2026-2027 school year. A couple items on modernizing advertising and allowing some flexibility with advertising because of there's a requirement that we have to publicly notice our meetings, but it has to be in a newspaper, but there's a lot of parts of the state that aren't covered by newspapers, and so we have to have some flexibility with that. There's also credit for 11th and 12th graders for working in congregate care, that they'll be able to get some credit for that, and that's to help address the shortfall that's expected in healthcare workers in the future. And then there is one that has gone through that we can add agenda items, which gives us as a governing body flexibility if we need to add an agenda item that's come up in the past 24 hours that has some urgency to it. It's been clarified through case law that we can do that. We have to crack open the agenda, edit the agenda, and then we can proceed with the meeting. But there had been some question about that, but now we're able to do it, which is good. That's it. Oh, and Thursday I have a meeting with Representative Lawrence on the cell phone ban bill, and I'll bring up the 5 miles. Not sure if that's going to be effective, but I will I'll keep doing that. Is it okay? We don't have Ed Committee on here, but you want me to just touch just a couple of topics?
Yeah, please.
So the Ed Committee, so just add an agenda item on the
Yeah.
fly. But it's not the same thing. This is a committee report. It's not a voting item. It's not a voting item. But we met earlier this evening on the Ed Committee, and third time was a charm. Mark, thank you very much for your patience, and Audrey too, because we had a snowstorm, then a rainstorm, and it canceled our Ed Committee meeting opportunities. But we met tonight. We had our long-awaited CTE programming update, and we saw student presentations. We saw presentation from Ms. Rudick, Mr. Lefevre, and Mr. King, and they brought along students, which really were a highlight to the presentations. And really appreciated the work that the staff are doing to support the students, and just the things that the students are doing. The 250th anniversary celebration decorated tractor that they found, restored, and put together, and all the work that the students are doing just looked great. And the one student's scholarship floored me. And just congratulations to staff and the students in the program. So thank you. Thanks.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Is there any old or new business? No. Any other items and announcements? None. This takes us to visitors' comments in general. If you have a comment in general, come on down. Oh, don't say everybody's name and municipality. Oh, there's just a couple of you. Sweetie, is the little green light on? Press the button there so we'll hear you.
Hello, school board members. Our names are Abigail Hatton, Avery Clansmith, Erin Miller, and Naomi Walburn, and Trinity Cannon. We are from the Junior Girl Scout Troop of 4642 that meet in Parksburg. We would like to bring to your attention that we would like to have after-school clubs in the OIS.
Currently in the OIS, the clubs available are Girls on the Run and the Good News Club. Those are limited to running and religion. Some other good club ideas that could be integrated are kickball, dance, making bracelets, crocheting, cooking, and book clubs. We think that there could be sign-up sheets in the lobby of the OIS for students to sign up. Willing teachers may take turns hosting a club based on their interests. Clubs could be grade-based if necessary. Parents would also need to be willing to pick their children up from these clubs, like they do for Girls on the Run and Good News Club.
Clubs can create a tighter-knit community, stronger friendships, and build new friendships. We hope that you take our idea into consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for that thoughtful presentation. There's more? Okay, wonderful. Is the green button still lit on the, you can just press that button? Okay. Thank you.
Dear school board representatives, our names are Alex Lazos,
Chloe Lavender, Caroline Hershey,
Madison Sterling, Johanna Slade, Mavis Smith. We are Junior Girl Scouts from Troop 4642 and meet in Parksburg. We are asking kindly to put feminine hygiene products like pads in the girls' bathroom for maturing girls. We believe that it is important for girls to have pads easily accessible in the bathrooms for multiple reasons. Pads are currently available only at the nurse's office. This adds an additional place to go before using the restroom to change a pad. Having them available in the restroom would allow girls to take care of themselves without going to another location to get a pad. This would also reduce the time the girl is away from her classroom.
Also, many girls may get embarrassed asking a teacher, especially a male teacher or a nurse, for a pad. They may avoid the situation altogether, which is unhealthy. We have heard that pads were removed from the bathrooms because kids were stealing them or messing up the bathroom. We hope that maybe we can find a way to make them accessible and avoid these situations because it's very important for girls to have these products accessible for our health, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for advocating. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Any other comments? All right. Thank you, which takes us to administrator comments.
It's just me, and I just wanted to clarify just a real quick thing. One of the courses that you had asked about, Mrs. Metzler, was the Pathway 21 Schoolwork Experience. We actually have had that program in place for the past couple of years. It's run by Mrs. Kelly Wetzel, but it is a course designed to help students with IEPs in life skills, autistic support, and emotional support to develop job readiness. We actually take them out and with several work partners, and they go to work and on the job, and it's a really fulfilling thing for our students and fulfilling for us as teachers and administrators to see our students be so successful in the work field. So that is not necessarily a new addition, but it is new to the course of the program of studies. Thank you. Just to mention about the barbering program, we have had a student go through that barbering program, Mr. Norris, so we are aware of that. It's much closer now being at Penix Bridge versus where it was previously at Brandywine. So again, good program. So that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? No? All right. Which takes us to board comments. Anybody on the board have a comment? No?
Well,
Come
thank you,
on.
girls,
Well,
for coming. I really appreciate, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being here, for speaking up and advocating for the needs that you see. Your voices really matter, so we appreciate you coming. Thank you.
I just wanted to throw one more, yay, Octorara Arts thing. Sawyer Graki was in the Region 6 band concert that I got to see over the weekend, and honestly, that's some talented kids right there. That was really talented. A lot of very enjoyable.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for the parents showing up and you guys sharing your feedback. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, thank you for advocating as you did. I do have a question. We know, we approve clubs that come from the high school. They come to us, but I don't know how, clubs get formed at the lower grades. So, do you know? Or
Again, I'll look at Dr. Flojo if there's any, because my context is very limited right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we have.
It would just be a matter of planning and working with the principal and the PTO to get those clubs up and
Okay.
running. Girls on the Run is very popular, but that was the impetus of two teachers that were very interested in doing that. So it would just be a work of collaboration to get together and get it running.
Okay, so, sorry, so if there's a group of people who may be sitting here that are interested in 2 or 3 different ideas, where do you think that they should go with those ideas? What would be your suggestion?
Well, I think first working with the principal and getting that established, and then we would put out feelers for who was interested in being the lead. We do have room in the supplementals to do that kind of thing.
Okay.
In previous districts, for me, the PTO was instrumental in running it, and parents also volunteered to run clubs, and the school host it. So it would be a matter of collaborating and figuring out how we can do that.
Yep, okay, thanks. Thank you.
Dr. K, did you have anything?
I was only going to mention that our Devapar friends discussed an immediate priority with regard to updating our website and our subsites. Well, Ms. Groh, our Director of Communications, let me know that was launched today. So we actually have a middle school subsite now that you can find on our webpage. And Ms. Groh is going to send out a communication to all of our community members informing them of this, and also giving them an opportunity to share feedback as they do navigate the site. Because again, the goal was ease of navigation for the end user, and so they can find information quickly and efficiently, and that's really the quality of a web page we're striving to achieve. So that should be out there now. So check that one little box. Lots of work thereafter, but
Like crashing as we speak.
The app-
let's hope not.
The app is great. I got it during the meeting. Yeah, it's good.
Ms. Grove's going to send out a survey attached to kind of like what's changed, what's new, and links to the site and everything else. That'll be coming very soon. Yep.
All right, if that's it, prior to adjournment, I'll read the following meetings. Education Committee meeting, Policy and Finance met this evening here. Well, yeah, here at the middle, or at the multi-purpose.
I didn't update this.
That's fine, I'm reading it. I mean,
You're stumbling though.
well, I know, because it said hub, I mean, I caught the date difference, so, whatever, we'll get there. The Facilities Committee, the next Facilities Committee meeting meets Monday, April 13th, here at the multi-purpose room. The regularly scheduled work session for April is the 13th, here as well. April 20th will be the Policy Finance Committee meetings here, and the next regularly scheduled board meeting is here, April 20th, at 7 o'clock. The Education Committee meeting is up at the Hub on the 27th. And with that, we'll move for adjournment.
So moved.
Second, any second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. All-